Welcome back, guys, to What to Watch. And this time, as you see on my screen, it's Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action. This dropped January 7th, this a couple weeks ago. I was meant to try to watch it, but I started watching other things like the review. I just well, not review, but what to watch for American Evil. Good show. Go check that out. I wanted to do Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action to What to Watch is because I grew up watching Jerry Springer. He was the most popular show during the mid '90s, late early mid '90s, late '90s as well, and then kind of fall off a little bit. You know, and I really want to watch it because I wanted to, to see really behind the scenes because we don't know what's going on. We heard different things that people were staged, it was fake, crazy things started happening. So, I was on lunch, I wanted to put it on and check it out. And when I watched that, I was like, wow. A lot of things I didn't know what was happening behind the scenes was crazy. Because at first I was watching, and I was like, well, if people want to be on the show, that's up to them. That's the decision. Or people were protesting that stop the show. Why is the show's on here? And I'm like, well, if you don't want to watch the show, just turn it off. Things like that. That's how I was feeling. But as I was watching it and it's getting deeper and deeper, seeing what this people had to do behind the scenes, seeing how Jerry Springer, the type of person he was. If you know Jay Springer, as I was growing up, I knew that he started out as a regular talk show. He didn't want to have this. He wanted to have meaningful situations, meaningful guests, things like that. Then, as you watch this, the producer came over, and his name is Richard. He came in and kind of turned it upside down, basically, as he said it in the documentary, and basically showing what they needed to do. Because Jerry Springer at first, he wasn't doing well. At the time, Oprah was the top talk show host, and this is like I said, the mid '90s, late '90s. This is really before social media, before we had the internet, deep in the internet. So only people really had to do was really watch daytime talk shows, and Oprah was on the top. And Jerry Springer came. Jerry Springer, and I learned also, I didn't know he was a mayor. He was a mayor. He was an Emmy, winning news anchor, all that. So he was a very wholesome guy. He's someone to talk about issues. But as it changed, and they started doing these crazy things with women being naked and the Ku Klux Klan coming, and there's so much debauchery in this. People want to keep watching it, but it's not a surprise because people like to turn their brains off and watch something that people are going through. People like to watch people going through stuff, hardship, so you can distract from our situation. And as I was watching it and seeing it, it it get kind of very dark and depressing. As you watch the documentary, I did not know this, but a woman died. Seeing the trailer, somebody lost their mother. You know, because of the situation. As you watch it, you learn more about it. I'm not gonna mention this, but there's something really dark about the one person that he found out what this person was going to do, dealing with a father and a daughter in a situation. It was ridiculous. He had people marrying their horses, marrying his horse, and leaving his family. Like these things were real. Now we thought it was like a fake and stage. No, all of those stories were real. These were real people. But also, you learn that a lot of times people were misled. They were, told one thing, then something happened else. The producers would kind of get them hyped up to get them, angry, things like that. So it was a lot of bait and switch and kind of stretching the truth and things like that. So as I watched this, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But also, I mean, you can tell that Jerry, he kind of didn't like it, but when you start getting famous, start getting popular, start getting money, you kind of just let it just fall by the wayside. And it shows that. And as we know, Jerry Springer, he passed away back in 2023. He had cancer, and he passed away. But, even he said that, it was a horrible, his show was just bad. And as we can see, a lot of shows we watch now with like Real Housewives and Kim Kardashian, all these other shows that people like violence. I noticed that a lot of shows that are like on Zeus and things like that, it's nothing but violence and fighting, and that I got kind of tired of as I'm getting older. But I really wanted to recommend this because being my age, growing up in the '90s and watching this, and sneaking to watch and not telling not let my parents know. I think, and that's why I want to share it because kind of resonates of me growing up. This was my childhood growing up was Jerry Springer. Of course, I probably wasn't, the perfect age to watch it, but we still watched it, and it was just wild because we like seeing people just angry and just crazy stories and fighting and things like that. And also shows that Jerry Springer actually beat Oprah in the ratings, and it was just wild and it didn't stop. And it was just going, it was going and going and going, and I can't believe the things that happened. It's only 2 episodes, and they're about almost a first episode about 43 minutes. Next episode is about maybe 53. So you're almost getting a total of 2 hours, about 2 hours of a documentary. You can finish this in a day. But I think people that's my age, if you grew up in the 90s, check out Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action. It just has so much in this that you're like, wow, these people were real. These people were real. These people weren't fake. Now they try to get some people staged, and you can notice when something's fake, not fighting. But these people were really fighting. These people were really just going at it, and with these crazy stories. And they really thought that when they went in the show, they would solve their problems, or Jerry Springer might help them and things like that. But that wasn't the case. Basically, they were just up there for people to laugh, gawk at their situation problems. And as we think they'll move on with their lives, a lot of times that doesn't happen. People will be ridiculed, embarrassed, but it's a very eye-opening show to watch, and I think everybody should check this out, especially if you grew up around this time, around this era in the 90s, growing up. Check out Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action. This was my child growing up with this show, and if you grew up around this time, you need to check it out. It's out now. Check it out on Netflix. Watch it over with you and your partner. Put it on and take a couple of shots because it's crazy. If you've seen Jay Springer Fights Camera Action, tell me what you thought about it. Did you enjoy it? Not enjoy it, but did you really have a realization like, wow, this was happening? Tell me what you thought about it. Make sure you leave a comment below. Make sure you share and like this. If you have any more things that you want me to watch and just recommend or talk about, please recommend that. But yeah, Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action, it was just an eye-opening thing of shows. And I did a couple months ago, I did a show about Nickelodeon, as we know about that. I'll leave a link for that to check that documentary out. I like documentaries. It sheds a light into what was going on behind the scenes, what people had to do, what they had to go through, and things like that. And it's wild. But until the next time, guys, until the next recommendation.
We can push it.
I would hope that you would feel some sense of responsibility.
It's a television show. It's a television show. We will all survive it.